Reese, what's up, man? Just wanted to give you some words of encouragement, man. I saw your video. I know a lot of people been making fun of you and stuff like that. But God stirred up some words inside me for you. So I'm going to start out with some scriptures. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." So I saw in your post, how you said you was, wanted your daughter and everything like that, and dealing with all of that and everything. Sometimes, I saw how you felt like you was like, oh, you got all these millionaire friends and, something like that. But just because they're millionaires does not mean they have good advice or qualifying advice for you. Now, they may be able to give you advice on how to make money, how to invest money, how to save money. But, there's different levels of common sense. Sometimes we feel like because they have a lot of money, maybe they can do this. But a couple of scriptures. So 1 Corinthians 1:27, "But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty." See, sometimes we feel like because, they've achieved a status as far as like money or education that they feel like they can give us qualified advice, but that doesn't always make sense because there's different levels of common sense. Romans 12:3, "For I say, through the grace given unto you, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly according to as God has dealt to every man the measure of faith." So I'm going to point you out a story. I'm going to talk about how the rich man had came and talked to Jesus, and he had asked him a few questions. So if you read in Matthew 19 and 20, it says, "The young rich man said to him, all these things I have kept from my youth. What do I still lack?" So he was asking Jesus, what would it take for him to actually go to, go to eternal heaven? So, and Jesus told him, he said, verse 21, Jesus said to him, "If you want to be perfect, go and sell whatever you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven, and come follow me." Verse 22, "But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions." He had a lot of money and everything. So a lot of people don't understand that story. When they talk about that story, they be like, oh, well, he told him to sell everything. Yeah, he did. It's not the love of money is the root of all evil. It's okay to like money, but he had a love for money. So he asked Jesus. So Jesus was telling him, listen, your treasures is where your money is at. That's where you at because you love money so much. Excuse me. My allergies. So at that point in the story, he had his amount of money and all that riches and all that stuff. That's where his heart was lies. So God was saying, Jesus was telling him to get rid of that, and then you would, you could have eternal life. A lot of people be like, oh, he just told him to get rid of everything. No, because that's where his heart lies. That a lot of people don't understand that. But then you look at people that have a lot of money, like, oh, well, I'm going to be, I can't love money or whatever like that. And it's okay to like money. You just can't love money. But a lot of people don't understand that story, and sometimes they think that story. So getting to the point, Exodus 13:17, it says, "When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country, though that was shorter, for God said if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt." So understand this, that normally our GPS, has us take the shortest route. But in this case, God had a detour for them and made them take a longer route. 2 Corinthians 1:4, "He who comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God." So that means that if God has given us comfort in something, we should give others comfort. So I have dealt with what you're dealing with currently. So right now, you pay like $13,000 in child support or whatever like that. You can actually go to the court, open up the court case, and you can get joint custody where you can get scheduled visits. Now, yeah, somebody like, well, I don't want to do that. Listen, you got to do what you got to do. As long as you're spending time with your daughter, that's all that's going to matter. And y'all can get 6 months out the year, whatever the case may be. But a lot of times, we go through things so we can help others get through. And obviously there's a there's a need for that for you. I always said that you don't always go through nothing for nothing, you know what I'm saying? And so what I've went through is so I could help you get through. So God comforted me when I didn't know what to do. I had to go fill it out myself. I had to go figure out what the law was. I had to go figure out how to do it, how to do this, you know, how to do this. And so I found out if you pay child support that they cannot keep you from the child unless there's situating circumstances like you abuse the child or whatever like that. So yeah, I could see that you were passionate and things like that, but it's okay. That's why there are people here, and God want to give you these words so you can have encouragement. Excuse me. I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, you gotta fight for your child, because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, you know, the one thing they'll look at is like, did you fight? Did you fight enough for me? And I was at the point myself, and I felt like, you know, why should I fight for this? Why should I have to do this or whatever like that? But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a single dad right now. You know, 4 children live with me, 4 out of the 5. But I'm just blessed to say that, you know, I thank God for always being there. And there were some nights that I cried. You know, it hurt. You know, the pain hurt when there are some fathers that don't really care about their child, and the other parent wants to force the relationship. And then there's ones that do care, and then, you know, sometimes they get the end of the stick, or there's a Commonwealth state, or sometimes things is geared towards the woman and everything like that. But, you know, I do try to co-parent well with their mother, you know what I'm saying? And because I want, you know, to make my child happy, and I ask God, I'm like, God, why should I be nice when she's not nice, you know? And I was like, you know, I wanted true happiness for my children. And God said, well, you have to pray for her. You know, you have to, you know, even treat her nice when you don't want to. And she said, because if you talk about her, you treat her wrong, it's actually going to affect the children. And I was just like, okay, well, that's not what I wanted. So, you know, sometimes you just got to, as Paul said, you got to die to you know, you got to die daily. We got to die in this flesh, you know what I'm saying? And pray for her, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't know the reason why, you know, sometimes women just get bitter, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard because that root sticks there, and then all of a sudden they start treating us the way that we shouldn't be treated. Excuse me, my allergies bother me. But I want to get this word out, you know what I'm saying, to be obedient. But sometimes, you know, we don't understand it. They become bitter because they get done wrong and previous to us or whatever like that. So, you know, when you get married and everything like that, that could just be like, oh, well, I could have been me. Then, you know, sometimes the only pawn that they have is the child, and that's what they use. No, it's not right. But some people, they do that. Hurt people hurt people. You know what I'm saying? When a person is hurt, they'll hurt other people not knowing. You know, that's why Jesus, when he was on the cross, Luke 23:34, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Because a lot of people, they really don't know what they're doing. Sometimes we think they do. And if they are, then if they do know what they're doing, I mean, think about it. You know, the world calls it karma, but God says you reap what you sow. If you reap evil, you sow evil. So we know if they reap evil, they're going to sow evil or whatever like that. But I just came today to encourage you, to just let you know that, you know what I'm saying, listen, I'm praying for you, and just do what you got to do so you can see your kids. And if you need to, reach out. Like I said, I've definitely been through that, down that road. Definitely dealt with that and how to deal with it. And like I said, I prayed for her, so I encourage you to pray for her. That's something hard because, you know, Jesus did tell us, you know, we have to pray for our enemies. And, you know, and I was studying, and enemies in a dictionary means anybody causing hatred in your life. So she could just be a temporary enemy at that point. But, you know, the thing is just to do that, and also to let others know, just because they might be millionaire friends doesn't mean that they have qualifying advice for you in this area. Now, in the area, like I said, of money, they may do that, but, you know what I'm saying, just doing that. And I just wanted to let you know to just do that and watch it. Things is going to change, man. Romans 8:28. It says, all things work together for good for those who are called according to his purpose, for those that love him. So that means if you love God, that no matter what it is, it's all going to work out to your good. And even if it is the enemy, Genesis 15:20, it says, what the enemy meant for evil, God will turn for good. So even in this, it feels like that, you know, saying you're temporary enemy. So don't worry about it. God's going to take care of it. But he wants you to draw closer to him, because I saw you make some videos about him and everything like that. And a lot of times, you know, there can be attacks and everything like that. But, you know, I looked at my situation, you know, to help others get through, and also to try to co-parent well, you know, for the child, because, you know, that's what a lot of children, when there's separation, a lot of children are affected by that. And, you know, sometimes they feel like, you know, the child feel like it's their fault, when the parents can be like, oh, it's not you, you know, but that's just how the child feels. So I don't try to argue around them. I just try to talk to her. I don't like arguing in general, but I try to come to a general, you know, conclusion of talking to her and things like that. And it's been tough at times, but you know what? I just thank God that He's given me grace and mercy. You know, I said God has given me a sound mind. That's what it says, 2 Timothy 1:7. You know, God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And to be able to deal with this and, you know, just leaning more on His strength and less on my own strength. So I definitely wanted to reach out, give you these words, man. Hopefully they get to you. I know it's your social media and everything, but I'll try to tag you on Twitter or anything like that, man. So I want to say love you. God bless, man. Praying for you and praying for her as well, man. The family. All right.